Hi, I'm Taylor McNally from EducationWise to tell you about the media products and the institutions that make them. The institution I will be using as an example is 20th Century Fox. 20th Century Fox is a conglomerate. This is a company that is made up of other companies that are called subsidiaries. Think of a conglomerate as a pie. When you cut it into pieces, the slices are the subsidiaries. Unlike a conglomerate, an independent company is a company that isn't owned by anything and operates on its own. They also get to keep all their profit. A commercial company is a company that aims to make a profit. Sometimes a company can have a joint venture, which means that two commercial companies that are not associated with each other or are not owned by the same conglomerate work together to make a product. Rupert Murdoch is the founder and CEO of 21st Century Fox and News Corp. 21st Century Fox, which is a conglomerate, owns 20th Century Fox. 20th Century Fox is a movie subsidiary which have made movies such as Avatar. Fox TV is its TV subsidiary that makes shows like The Simpsons. Fox Sports Radio is its radio subsidiary, and National Geographic is its documentary subsidiary. News Corp, on the other hand, makes newspapers like The Sun. 20th Century Fox has its own subsidiary like Blue Sky, which is their animation department that have made movies like Ice Age. Another subsidiary of 20th Century Fox is 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment, which is a subsidiary that distributes videotape films. Since 2006, they make DVDs and Blu-rays. A recent release was Smosh the Movie.
Next, please.
21st Century Fox, in a whole, is a cross-media ownership company that uses its subsidiaries to make more than one type of media to promote their products. They can do this by owning companies that make the other media, just like Sony does.
Next, please.
The operation of a conglomerate like 20th Century Fox is a really big deal, as this is what gets the company the profit, so it can carry on to make more products. There are two types of integration in the film production cycle: horizontal integration and vertical integration. Firstly, horizontal integration is when a conglomerate and a subsidiary, a parent company, or joint venture works together to cross-promote a product like a movie or game. This creates synergy, which means that their products are better promoted. All the media made in a conglomerate are made by subsidiaries or joint ventures, like what 20th Century Fox did with Blue Sky to make Ice Age. But if it is an independent company, it is made with a parent company or joint venture. These will make different medias like TV, radio, film, games and electronics, websites, or newspaper or magazines. For example, 20th Century Fox has Fox Home Entertainment, which makes DVD and Blu-ray. Vertical integration, on the other hand, is only for a conglomerate, whilst horizontal is for both a conglomerate and an independent company. A vertical integration is only for a conglomerate because it needs multiple subsidiaries, which an independent company doesn't have. There's three stages that it controls: production, distribution, and exchanging. Production is the process of making the media, such as film, from 20th Century Fox. Distribution is where the profit is made, as this is advertising and distributing the media. So in the case of a film, it's sold to cinemas or is sold as a DVD to shops like Blockbusters. And finally, exchange is the consumption of the media. So this would be the customer buying the DVD or ticket in exchange to watch the movie. So the pre-production stage is the planning, and this means that they make storyboards, scripts, and work plans. Storyboards and scripts are used for the narrative part of the movie or game, and then the work plans are used as milestones and deadlines for filming or developing the movie or game. The company also needs to get a demographic of their target audience, as this helps them get an understanding of how they're going to make the media, as it needs to appeal to the target audience. Then they also need to start listing and gathering assets such as cameras and sound equipment. One of the important things they have to do is design concepts for the characters and locations, especially if the media is a game, but it can also be done for movies to help with costumes, makeup, and sets. They also have to think about locations, specifically movies and TV, as this is where they'll film the scenes. As well as this, they have to think about the crew and cast, as they're the people who are going to star or help in the movie or TV show. The crew help with the production, from setting up the equipment to applying the makeup. But with games, they'll just have a cast of people who will do the voices for the characters in game, but the crew will be people like programmers and concept artists. Even if it's a big company that makes the media, they still have to respect copyright and the legislation. So when they're gathering assets like music, they have to pay the company that owns the music in return to let them use it. The most important thing about the pre-production stage is working out how much of the budget they're going to need, and this doesn't just include the production, but advertising and distribution. So they need to think real careful about how much equipment and casting is going to cost. Next is the production stage, which is the stage where the movie or game is made, and this can take up to 12 months. Firstly, there is the filming and recording of the actors. If it's an animated or CGI movie, they'll need voice recordings for the characters, and this goes for games as well. Then there are also AAA games that get massive budgets, and normally if they're story based, they sometimes use motion capture to make the characters look more realistic as a human, other than the computer made movements. Most of the time movies use chroma key, which means that they use green screen as a way to create CGI and sets without having to make them physically, and instead just filming and then edit onto the green screen. The director of photography is the person who organizes the camera crew and makes sure that the movie is filmed properly. So he is an important person in the production stage, especially when it's a movie. If the movie is an action or sci-fi type film, there will need to be a pyrotechnic who professionally helps with fires and explosions. Finally, they'll need to get the assets such as props, sets, costumes, makeups, and prosthetics, which is basically specialized makeup that make the person look like an alien, for example. Finally, it's the post-production stage, and this is where all the special effects and editing go into the product, as they collect all the footage and add all the after effects like adding backdrops to the green screens. They can also use CGI for stunts and scenes. Products are the outcome of a production and what the customers consume. 20th Century Fox has a wide selection of products which are what its subsidiaries can make. Fox TV makes TV programs like Empire and The Simpsons. 20th Century Fox has made many films such as Alien and Fantastic Four. Products like newspapers have to be mass-produced as they are read all around the country. This may only be on a national or local level, but it's still read by a lot of people. If it was a mainstream movie production company, it will make a movie on an international level, so that it can reach out to the very wide audience. They'll mostly distribute it to countries like America, United Kingdom, and China. Mainstream just means that it's popular and trending. Market position means how successful a company is in its field of expertise like food, media, electronics, etc. You can find out how successful a movie is by looking at several things. You can look at its market share, which how much a company and its subsidiaries are worth in the market, as this can show how successful its products have been by looking at how much profit it has made. The sales of the product, so how many were sold or how many box office hits it got, can show how many people like the products they make or how popular the product is. How many good reviews or how many awards of the product they are given to the movie also affect the market position. As the better the review or the more rewards given, the more likely people will buy it or consume the product, which gives better profit and makes the product more popular. Another example could be how old, experienced and popular the company is, because if the company has lasted a long time, it means that they're good at what they do and they're less likely to fail and not have a successful product. How they differ from the other rivals who make the same kind of product can also affect the market position, because if the company is different from a generic company, then your company is going to stand out from the crowd, and that means people will familiarize with it as it's different. Finally, if the company is international or just national, can also affect the market position, because if you're international, it means you're going to be known all throughout the world, but if you're national, you're only going to be known in one country or locally, which means that your product might not sell as much. But if you're a small national company, you can still be successful, as it doesn't just depend on the popularity, but also how much profit you make. The market position for 20th Century Fox today is 10.1%, with a gross of $806 million with their films so far in 2015, and it is ranked 4th in the market position. Universal is ranked 1st with 27.9% of the market share and a total gross of $2,230 million. Second ranked is Buena Vista, who are a Walt Disney subsidiary, with 18% and have $1,440 million in gross. And finally, at third rank is Warner Bros. With 16.1% of the market shares and a total gross of $1,286 million. 20th Century Fox's film Home had the highest gross this year in the box office at $177,397,510 compared to the Universal top-grossing film Jurassic World, which came up to $649,905,696. You can see why they are ranked first. But this movie may have only got a huge profit because they brought back a huge movie franchise. Meanwhile, Home is a new movie without any predecessors. Back to talking about 20th Century Fox, they make films, but so do other companies out there, and this can be a competition between them to get the most box office hits and profit. A big rival of 20th Century Fox is Walt Disney Studios. They are quite equal to 20th Century Fox in the way that they make about the same profit, but they are quite different as a company. Recently, they have made films similar to 20th Century Fox, as Disney has made a few new action films such as Avengers Age of Ultron, which is a recent and popular film as it has a wide range of audience from little kids to comic-loving grown men. They also keep making films as a joint venture with Pixar, such as the new release Inside Out, which is hugely targeted at kids, and they have been successful with the tactic for many years as kids continue to love their films. Disney stands out from the crowd, especially from 20th Century Fox, as Disney focuses on kids' movies, and that's what they're good at. But 20th Century Fox has only done this a few times by working with Blue Sky Studios and making a well-known series called Ice Age. 20th Century Fox stands out from Disney as it's worked more with Marvel to make movies like Fantastic Four and X-Men series, which have been quite successful, but this may be about to change as Disney owns Marvel and has been making big budget films with them like Avengers. Well, that's it with today's episode of Education Wise, as we've gone through how institutions operate, what makes them successful, and that there can be competition in the world of media. This was Tilly McNally.